Hi, I'm Andy Yim, and this is my beautiful wife, Susie Yim, and we've been attending OC now for 5 years.
So as a family, I think our biggest testimony that we've had is just how we started our family. I think going into pregnancy, you always think you're gonna have this beautiful pregnancy, everything's gonna be perfect, and that was my vision all the time. So when we got pregnant with Evan, I got sick right away and was hospitalized and was diagnosed with hyperemesis gravidarum. And at that point, we did not know what it was. People just assumed I wasn't eating or drinking water. And so we went through several hospital trips and got to the point where I just had to be on a feeding tube and, just my health was deteriorating and so was the baby.
This is like 5 months of, literally she hasn't eaten anything. She's on an IV tube. At one point, she was at home after 2 or 3 months of multiple hospitalizations where they're like, okay, you can have her at home, but she's gonna have a permanent PICC line so she could have IV. So literally we got shipped bags of fluids and daily, every, I think 8 hours, I had to switch her back. The doctor walked in the room and was like, we're gonna have to put you on a feeding tube, which is gonna be a more, invasive kind of procedure. We're being in the room, we were just crying and praying, and we just felt the Holy Spirit, just encounter us, and was like, gave us peace and was like, you're done, it's finished, And I remember the doctor coming in the next day, and we just told him, we're going home, take everything out. So they took out the IV fluids, and we went home, and we had a feast, and Susie ate.
My mom had her prayer praying for us every day, so she just felt like this isn't where I needed to be. And I was so scared because the only nutrition the baby was getting was through this IV bag. So I was so scared to make that choice. And we did it, and I slowly started eating. And it was little by little, and we just did not give up. I mean, literally, it was just little by little, and it slowly just progressed, and I was able to fully deliver him full term. And he is healthy like you would just never think anything. We went through anything.
After going through it the first time, it happened every time. So she got same thing, IV bags at home for the first, trimester.
But we prayed about it, and we just said, he's done this before. We trust in him. He's obviously given us another child because he knows that this is something that we can do. And so we literally just move forward.
And I would say after the first baby is when we found OC. Tommy, we're playing basketball one night, and we're just all rolling back home in the car. And me and Tommy were in the back just getting to know each other, talking, and asking him about faith and his church. And he was like, dude, you got to come to my church. And I was like, absolutely. When should I come? He was like, this Sunday or something. And I was like, cool. So Susie she was sick. She couldn't go. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go to church.
In church, and I said, what? And I knew, okay,
I always
something
cry. I always cry in church.
So I was like, something special had to have happened. And he's like, you would love it. And so when I started feeling well enough to come, I did. And just the sense of welcoming. Just as soon as you open the door, they're so great, thankful and happy to see you. Feeling like you're at home. And I think the biggest thing for us is that our kids just love it. There are times they'll come home, they're like, we want to go to church every day, and to find that. And that was our prayer, was, to find a place where we can grow, and especially for our children. We both grew up in the church, and so we know how important that foundation is. And so that's really what we were looking for.
And so having that community and having people from the church, and Pastor D and Pastor Amir and others reach out, and Stephanie Pavlik and others, it's just so, important, and just, so good to have that community and help us get through.
There were days that I just felt like I didn't know if I could go on, and physically carrying the baby and all of that. And I'm sure mentally for him to have that extra load was difficult, but for him to have people to call on and ask them to come and pray over me, and I I know I couldn't have gone through that without those prayers and just everyone rallying, really through prayer, and the prayer chain, and it was incredible.
So I've been in a community group where we meet every Monday and we study, we read a book, and we just come and praise and worship together.
Part of the OC Mommy and Me, so I get to bring my children and meet with other moms and their kids, and our kids get to play, so it's like a fun, big play date. You may have an idea of what something is going to look like or feel like, and it doesn't go that way, but if you just have complete faith in God and have the people supporting you and just praying over you and keeping you strong in your faith, I mean, you will be able to get through it, because I swear He shows up way bigger than we could have ever imagined.
I'm Andy M.
I'm Susie M.
And this is our story.